All good. We're going to kind of jump right into it because I'd like to work all the way around if we can, you know, and if you get stumped and you can't keep going, that's okay too. You can come back and catch yourself up, and I'm going to show you how to take a cable out after you've done it as well. So first thing I want to know is, have any of you done cables before? Some of you, okay. And new to cables, Janelle and Kimber. Okay, great. Tell me what frustrations you've had with cabling before, if you had frustration, or you just loved it so much you want to take the class again.
I wanted to learn how to do it without the cable needle.
Okay, great, great. That's a kind of a thumbs up on that, learning to do it without the cable. Have frustrations with your cables? Nope. Okay. You know, there is a time for cable needles, and hi Sandra. There's a time for cable needles. I do all of mine without a cable needle, but I'm going to use it so that I can show you. And if you're new to cables, you probably don't want to start that way. But we do repeat this 6 times. So maybe by the 4th or the 5th or even the 6th time, you might be able to experiment without using a cable needle. Okay, cables look really impressive, and you'll find this little cowl very addicting to do. It's kind of like working with stranded knitting. It's just you want to get to the next step. And what's really cool about this project is there's just 2 cable rows. So it's really nice for you to be able to have some rest time, so to speak, where all you're doing is doing the knits and the purls and those kinds of things. In the pattern, Susan Feely designed this. We were looking for, I'm going to get to screen share here. We were looking for a kind of a sampler cable, and we just really couldn't find what we were looking for. So when you can't find what you're looking for, you simply make your own. And so Susan designed this and knit it, and then we test knit it and tested the pattern. And so that's why we really try to work hard. We don't always get it right, but we try to work hard at making the pattern really understandable. So I hope you found it helpful to then see this table. When we originally wrote this out, you can imagine all those words written together, all those symbols written together were really hard to follow. So what you see in this table is where your markers go. And this is the sections that you do all the way around. Now, the other thing that we did add to this.
Hey, Angie, yeah. Where is that? Where do I print that off at? I couldn't, I looked on the knit paper scissors.
Did you get an email? Did you get an
email? I got an email, yeah, to remind me of the class, but I guess, okay, I'll look again. You go ahead. I'll look at the email and see if I missed it. All right.
If not, we'll get it sent out to you, Sue, but we sent it with the class. I thought you were on the list, but you know, stranger things happen. We also put the chart in here, and you know, whether you use a chart or not, I think one of the things we wanted to put in all the way around the project. And so typically it wouldn't be this big a chart, but it's just a good way for you to use to look and get used to symbols and to see what a cable right and a cable left looks like with these symbols in here. So we're not really going to work off of that today, but at some point you'll want to you might want to have it on both sides of when you're working your other table, and then kind of cross-reference it so that you could get used to working off a chart, because you know some patterns don't come with written instructions. So you might have to work off of a chart at some point. So let's go. Any questions before we start in your setup and getting things ready to go? Okay. Sue, I'm sorry if we didn't get that sent to you. You'll have to, because there's a couple of setup things to do, but you could even practice on what you have and then take it out. You have that, right. And then there were three other rows to do. 3 other rows
Okay,
to do.
yeah,
So,
all I did was the 3 ribbing. I'll
Yeah.
keep looking. I don't see an attachment.
but you
with
know,
that
you could
reminder.
even practice your cabling and then take it back if you want to practice it
Sure.
with what we're doing. So we are on round 3 where it says,
Angie, can I ask one quick question? It's
Sure.
basic. You know how you mark when you do your first round to join it, you put a marker there. So do I need my 2 markers there to designate where that is, or just with the end of 4?
I don't think you'll need to, Janelle, but you know,
Okay,
because each section is pretty distinct.
okay.
Each section is pretty distinct. And I think once you get going, it doesn't hurt.
Yeah, okay.
Okay, so we are looking then at round 3, knit 2, purl 2, knit 2. And now we are going to do what's in parentheses. So we're going to do purl 2 and then a 3x3 right cable times 3. And so what you'll want to do is go right means, and cable right means slip the next 3 stitches to a cable needle and place at the back of the work, knit 3, then knit 3 from the cable needle. So I'm going to do it. Why don't I do it, and then you can do it yourself. And then Sue, I'll slip over and see if I can't email it quick. Okay, so you take 3 off, and I'm using this little hook cable needle, and that's kind of nice as a beginner cable needle. I also like these wooden Brittany ones because you can see that they're kind of narrow in the middle, and I'll use this to show you in a bit, but I can knit off of this one too. You can knit off this cable needle as well, but let me move my keyboard, but it's a little awkward with the hook. This hook cable needle is very helpful when you're doing like 8. And sometime I did a project that was 12. So I had to hold 6 stitches to the front, 6 stitches to the back. That was really challenging. And there was no way that I could do that without a cable needle. So we're going to demonstrate with a cable needle first. So we're going to go 3, and then it says, let them go to the back. And so what's nice about this is you can just push it onto the cable needle and let it hang in the back. And then what's probably most important is where, okay, so you don't, the yarn that you're going to knit with, you do not want the yarn underneath to the back of those stitches. So you need to keep it in front, and you need to, what does it say? Knit the next 3. So I want this yarn to come right to the next stitch. So 1, 2, 3. Okay. Now it says to knit the other 3 stitches off the cable needle. So let's look at the back of my project. There are my 3 stitches. They're waiting for me. They're hanging there. And I really don't like to knit off of a cable needle. So what I like to do, and especially I think as a beginner, so I'm going to take this and I'm going to slip these stitches back onto my needle. And basically what you're doing is you're twisting these stitches. So I'm going to put it back on, and it's going to be a little tight. And so you see how they look crisscross now. And then I'm going to knit those 3. 1, and they're going to be tight. Whoop, I had a little split. 1, 2, 3. Okay. And then they're gonna look like that. They're gonna look twisted. Okay, so go ahead. Give it a try. I'm gonna do it again here. And now I'm ready to do 3. And so we hook the 3 stitches on the cable needle. I'm going to use the other cable needle this time. So I'm going to do the 3 here. The thing about the straight cable needle is that when you put it to the back, you kind of have to work around it. So you have to just kind of make sure it's hanging in the back. So you can see how the hook one might be a little easier because it kind of hangs down. And then I'm going to knit 3, and I want to cinch that stitch up, that very first off this cable needle. And that's the advantage of the straight Brittany cable. So here we are. I'm going to show you how I knit right off of it. So I'm not putting it back on my metal needle. I'm just going to knit it off of these 3, and that saves time. Okay, questions? Doing good?
Oh, slow.
That's all right. Take your time. Might look like this. Okay. All right, I'm gonna let you work. Try to do those 2 cables. I'm gonna go send Sue.
Well, I found it. I got it.
Oh, you did? Okay, good.
Yep.
Good, good, good.
Everything's printed
Good.
off.
Good, good, good. Okay.
So would you show again how to get those back
Uh-huh.
on the needle again? You just, how do you flip that back?
Mhm.
Okay.
All right, so now I'm ready to do, I'm ready to do my cable 3 back.
Wow.
So I'm going to slip them on the cable needle. And I don't really, I slip hang down like that.
Yeah, I have it, that part, and I knitted, and now to put them, so I just
Okay.
then slip it back onto the needle.
All right, I'll show you. Here we go, knit 3. All right, now I'm ready to put them back on. Okay. So you could see that it's important to kind of do it. You just kind of are going to slip them to the edge of this. And then you just transfer them straight across, not knitwise. You're just slipping them 1, 2, 3. Okay. And now they're crisscross like that.
So it's have the point to your left to take it off.
Well, however it works to get them off, Janelle.
Oh, it doesn't matter. Okay.
No, it doesn't matter. You just got to transfer them back. And then purl 2. Okay, so everybody do that first section if you can and see how it accomplishes it, how it works for you. Let me know if you have questions. Okay. Come along. Must be. You won't see the effect of your cable until you knit about 3 more rounds. So on this first round, you're kind of like, well, this isn't looking as cool as I'd like it to look. And it happens once you get 3 or 4 rounds up. I'm going to go get our sample. I've got that up at the front. It would be brush fleece down there. Yeah, that one. The other one, Cindy, would be this yarn, this aria.
Okay. What?
This aria. Those are over here.
You,
Yep.
that part? I wish I'd seen that before.
That
Does
was
it take
our,
long to do those?
that was our Valentine.
No,
No, I could do it like that.
you're Teddy, well, you're a good knitter. Okay, how we doing?
I dropped something. I'm gonna have to back up here.
Okay,
So
so let's talk a little bit about that. When,
crochet
Let's-
thing.
let's say that or a 2 and I needed to do a 3, but I've already got my cable here. So give it a look here for a moment. Stop and look up if you can. So I've got the cable done, but I need to take it out. And this is 6 stitches. So I'm just going to slip those 6 stitches off, 1, 2, 3, and then I'm going to undo them and they'll get back in their place. And then I'll pick it up like this to put them back in correct order, one after another. And that's how I do, if I have messed up a cable, that's how I do it. Okay, so then I'm going to put it back over here. All right, you might want a pencil or a pen to write some notes. Okay. All right, now I'm back on and I can do my cable again.
Now, do you block here ever? Does anybody block? Because I don't even have a big enough spot. You know, we're older,
Okay,
moved from a big home, and now we scale down. And I tell you, my scale.
People will lay it down like that.
all right, so here's our 3 again. I'm gonna do another cable
To dry.
and I'm gonna hold 1, click them off, 1, 2, 3, let it go to the back. See, you can just push that down. What's really important is that your yarn comes over that you don't get your yarn hooked. Is going directly to the next stitch. Because sometimes I've cabled and got it underneath those stitches and it's not right. So I knit 3 and then I'm going to take this
Oh, really? Have you
and
Sometimes
slide it around and get it back on. Or you could knit off. I just don't find the hook to be easy to knit off of it.
Yeah, I'm all hot and bothered for these.
I think you
parts.
could figure it out. But I'm going to show you what I do all the time anyway, which is do it without the cable needle. Okay, questions?
Angie,
Uh-huh.
I've done one with the hook before, and I always take them off with the short end of the hook, so I'm knitting off the long end.
Okay. All right, now let's do the next section. So our next section is knit 2, purl 2 twice. So we're going to knit 2, purl 2, knit 2, purl 2. All right. Now on our description, and the left cable says slip 2 stitches to the cable needle and place in front. So left leaning means front for this one, to the front. And I'm going to show you how I do it without a cable needle. So 2, 2 and 2 means I'm working 4 stitches. Left leaning, I leave them to the front. So when I leave them to the front, it means I'm working 4 stitches here. Okay, 1, 2, 3, 4. I'm going to go into the back of the loop of the last 2 stitches. Okay, so when it's forward, you go back. So that's the important thing to remember with cabling without a cable needle. When it's forward, you go into the back. All right. And then I put my fingernail right here on the 2 stitches, and I'm going to pull the needle out. That one stays on, and I'm going to trade their places. It's just like what I would be doing with a cable needle. And then I'm going to put these 2 on, and then I'm going to knit 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay. So then it says purl 2. And then it says right cable 3. So we have done that already. But if we're going to do it, so it's a rear cable, I'm sorry, rear cable. That's what I should be saying, rear and forward, sorry. That means rear and forward. So right cable means that it needs to stay in the back. And I'm working 6 stitches this time. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And so that means I'm going to go to the front, because remember what we did on our cable needle? Those were supposed to be in the back. Okay, so you really have to kind of stick your needle in. And then again, I'm going to put my index finger back here to support those stitches. And I'm going to pull the needle out. And this time you got to come all the way out. And then you're going to trade. You're going to go behind and you're going to grab those. And then you're going to put these on in order to be able to knit. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So that was basically the same thing I did with the cable needle. I did without the cable needle. Okay, I'm going to do them again. Questions? Okay, so now it says to knit 3. 1, 2, 3, purl 2, and then 2 right cable or rear cable. So if it's rear, what do I need to do with my needle? If I need to hold it in the back, what do? I come in the front. So I'm working the 4 stitches, 1, 2, 3, 4. So I'm going to come in and I'm going to go to the last 2 from the front. I'm going to hold those stitches. See how I've got it with my index finger? And then I'm going to take my needle out and I'm going to go grab them. It's been a while since you've cabled. You might want to just use the needle until you kind of get through the pattern and then pick up. Okay, now they are twisted already. They're already twisted, so now I can knit my 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. And then there should be 2 purls. Okay. There we go.
Your voice sounded familiar.
All right. Questions? How you doing? Are you trying it? Okay. Yeah. Yeah.
Oh, I was there a lot.
Yeah.
But then one of my friends, Ellen.
Okay. We're in section 3. I'm going to just keep going so that I can demonstrate everything. So you'll have a recording of that. And this time I'm going to use the cable needle again. So now it's knit 2, purl 2, knit 2, purl 2, and then it's a 3x3 left leaning, which is forward. So we put it on 3 on our little cable needle. and we let it hang to the front. The front's easy. See, the front's easy because then you don't have to worry about what you're getting done in the back. It's all right there. We're going to knit 3, 2, 3, and then you're going to put these up on the needle if you want to knit them off the needle. If you're going to knit them off the cable needle, it's really important that you're using the same size cable needle or close to the same size cable needle as you would be using with the size of your needle, because your stitches will get tight. Okay, we do that 3 times. So let's go ahead and do it again. 1, 2, 3. So as Sandra said, you can pick it off with your circle like that, with your U, the short side, let it hang. 1, 2, 3. And then you could slide it up here and you could knit off the cable needle if you'd like to eliminate a step. Okay, drop your cable needle, go back and do 2 purls, and we got to do it one more time. So we do 3, 2, 3, hang to the front, knit 3.
I don't see a pure red like you did here.
And then you can put them up on your needle or knit off. 1, whoops, 2, 3, purl 2. How you coming? Is everybody doing it? You're awfully quiet. Must be. Questions? Okay, we're ready for our last segment, and then we're going to show you that twist. Okay, so our last segment then is knit 2,
Yes.
purl 2, twice, knit 2, purl 2.
Did you find it for that?
Okay, then it's a right twist. Whoop, I'm frozen. Oh, let me get this open. Okay, now it's a right twist. So let's read what it says. And in order to do the right and the left twist, just follow it exactly how it's written. So here we go. Right twist. It says work as knit 2 together. So I'm going to take these, a twist stitch is just 2 stitches. This is what we're accomplishing. I should show you that. We're making this little twist right here is what we're doing. Okay. It says knit 2 together. So I'm knitting them together, but I don't take it off the needle. Then it's without removing 2 stitches from the needle. Knit into just the first stitch. And the first stitch is not the first stitch to you, but it's the first stitch you would have encountered. So I'm going to knit into this one. So I just take my fingernail and so see, here it is. I knit those and see how they're kind of close together. Just take my fingernail and kind of open that up. And then I knit into that stitch. And then you're going to pull them both off at the same time. And that creates that little twist. It's really simple to do. Okay. And then we're going to purl 3. And this one, I often only purl 2. So just be aware that most of the purl 3. So every once in a while I come upon a knit stitch and it's like, oh, I only purled 2. So this section does have a purl 3. Now it's a 2x2 left cable. And so that means forward. So I'm going to do it without the cable needle. So again, I go behind. If it's in front, put your fingernail here, Pull the needle out of the hole, all four. Come grab these two, they're waiting for you. Your fingernail here is really important because it keeps the stitches elevated. And then you're gonna knit 4. Okay. Then a cable right. So that would be rear in. So I come in front, and I'm going to take it off, pull it out, come get them this way. All right, we'll knit the 3 or 4, sorry. Purl 3. Now we're ready for a left twist. Okay, and I'll show you the whole piece here in a bit. So our left twist, let's read the directions for the left twist. It says, slip the next 2 stitches knitwise, 1 at a time. So when you switch them, it reorients them, and then you put them back on the left needle. So back to the left needle, knit the second stitch through the back loop, like that, through the back loop. And then it says knit together through the back loop and knit together, knit both the stitches. So you do the 1 like we've got there. Then I'm going to pull that out and I'm going to go through both of them through the back loop. And that creates that twist. And then purl 2. And we've made it all the way around. Woohoo! So let's look at what we've done here. This is where we're at. So you started here. You have done this cable, this cable, this cable. Then we have our verticals. Here's a 2. Here's the 3. Here's a 2 coming on around. Now here's our 3, 3, 3 leaning the other way. Then we're going to come to our final section. Here's our twist. And then we do that little cable. This is what you're going to be creating. And that creates it by doing a left and a right and a left and a right. 1 more twist and then you're done. Okay. Then when you look at your pattern, you'll see that you're going to do round 4, 5, and 6. And those are all just plain rounds. Not plain, I mean you knit and purl, knit and purl. And this is when you're by doing that. You will find that you don't even need to follow the pattern with this because you can tell, you can read your stitches. You can say, oh, I'm purling here. These are knits. So your cables are going to be knit out and your purls are just going to be there because you never purl on a cable. Does that make sense? So you'll find that you can whip through the 4, 5, and 6. You do want to make a little tick mark because as easy as you're going through rounds 4, 5, and 6, it's easy to get off. And counting your cables is not as easy as counting a straight up stockinette stitch. So try to always make a tick. And then when you get to your next cable round, which is 7, you have a plain section, and then you have a cable here. You have a plain section and a cable here. Okay. All right. What questions can I answer for you? Any questions? I'm going to show you one other thing that you might encounter in your cabling is your stitches will, some of your last stitches will look elongated, the last stitch on your cable. So I'm trying to find a good example of that. You know, this blocked out beautifully, but sometimes, let's just use this as an example. This might be kind of long and it'll look kind of exploded like that. Your knitting is loops. So your knit stitches are all connected by loops. And I learned this in a class. You can come into this stitch with a little needle and give it a tug, and it'll bring it back. It'll make that stitch behave better. And when I did this cable project, I had quite a bit of that because that's just how it happens on the second. But now that I'm looking for them, I'm finding them because I steamed them out, and they really steam nice, and they look like they're really pretty uniform, don't they? Here might be one that's just a little bit elongated. And then you can just come in and you can give him a little bit of a tug. You can give this one just a little bit of a tug and get them all kind of lining back up where they're the nice shape. So that's one of the things you might see in your cabling. Okay. Questions? Let's go there. Yeah. Okay. Are you exciting?
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Very good. Do you feel confident with it? Okay. Yeah. Nell's going, no. Any questions? Janelle, we'll talk about your strategy. Okay. So we are going to meet next Friday, and you can either work to finish and have a show and tell, or come back and then we'll troubleshoot anything that might occur for you. You will find that it's a super fun knit. It's super fast. One of the things in doing your cables, you want to do cables with a yarn that has some firmness to it. So you can imagine if you had like a silk or something really slick and smooth, holding that stitch would be very difficult. So, and I really like my cables to show too. So if you do it in a worsted wool, 100% wool, or something close, then they're going to look firmer. And I think they look nicer that way. You know, if you look at a lot of like the Aran, they're called Aran, all cabled all over. They're done in a really nice heavy wool so that they really show off your cables. But I could see myself making this for my girls and just as a nice gift. And if Nancy's got her little cowl on. Once you get used to wearing a little cowl around your neck, especially when it's cold, these are just fabulous. Let me put it on so you can see how it fits. So see, it's just really, it's very nice. It's got enough looseness, but it'll stand up a little bit to be able to show you, show off your cables.
Kind of like a turtleneck.
Kind of like a turtleneck, right? You know, when we first did it, when Susan first did it, it was quite a bit smaller. I wanted you on a 24-inch needle. So I know we talk about magic loop a lot. I don't like the magic loop with cables, because you get to turning and then you need to do a cable on the next side, and it's kind of hard to make that cinch up. So if I'm doing cables, I like to do them on a 24 circular. So that's why we enlarge it just a smidge so that you could have success with it. You know, we do try to plan for your success. We don't always get that right, but we do try to plan for your success with our patterns. Okay. I will send you the video. If you have any questions, you know where we're at, or you can give me a call and we can FaceTime. And Janelle, we just need to get your stitches back on and then you can go again.
Right.
Your chart 6 total times. That's not the first time and then 6 more. It's 6 total times. You should have plenty of yarn. Make sure to avoid that setup round, because when I was doing it, I would go back to the setup round. I'm like, oh no. You got to go to round 1. Okay, so work rounds 1 through 8. We put a gray line in there, so hopefully that will help you with that. But when I was doing it every once in a while, I was like, oh, don't do the setup round again, Angie. Okay, at the end, we do add a stitch back in, and that's, you'll see that in the very last row. We do add that stitch back in because you got to have a 2x2 rib, and we've taken one stitch out, and that was to make the cables work. Okay, so good to spend Friday with you. Nice and sunny out. Feels like a balmy 28 degrees. Anything's better than it was. And we'll see you next Friday for any troubleshooting or show and tell or wherever you're at. Thank you, guys.
Bye.
Angie.
Bye-bye.